Sim, concordo com tudo. Obviamente que o Arsenal teve o controle do jogo muitas vezes com a bola, nós defendemos
Controlled the ball.
muito diferente
We defended well.
de adaptar se queremos.
It was not that different from what we do in our domestic league.
Tivemos a
We conceded the first goal, but before that we had created the very first chance of the match.
para todas as incidências do jogo.
Considering the match as a whole, I would say that the performance was similar to what we have been experiencing throughout the season.
Digamos assim.
There are some minor details where we are missing. We could have scored the 3-1 and right after we conceded the second goal. I mean, we did our best. There was an overload of the wings by Arsenal, but our players were very smart.
Com qualidade.
When recovering the ball, we also had quality in the possession. We created our chances. I mean, we played against a powerful team, and we are a young, talented team with still room for improvement and to progress. But I would say that we could actually have won the match today.
No final do jogo, perguntei ao Paulinho que é que...
At the end of the match, I asked Paulinho what is your opinion about the match, and he was not able to answer. He had mixed feelings. He didn't know whether or not it was a good or a bad result. What is your opinion of this result, knowing that there's yet a second leg to play at the Emirates?
Há Ugarte, mas não há nem Morita.
Ugarte will be back at the team, but Coates and Morita will miss the second leg through suspension. How will it impact your team? Well, there will be other players available.
Vão muito de encontro àquilo que o Coates nos dá.
I mean, the characteristics of the game are in line with the strengths of Coates. Usually we don't play so
quase agarrar
close to our box, and he's very good in keeping the line.
Então, Morita é jogador que está.
So we'll miss him. And then Morita is a very strong player with the ball. He has a great defending capacity.
O mesmo sistema com o Japão, onde defenderam muito bem.
He plays exactly in this very same position with the national team of Japan, but he also has the capacity to run with the ball. They will not be available, but there will be other two players occupying their positions. As I've seen today, I played all the centre-backs available in our squad, and they all did a good match.
Gostariam a assinar este resultado?
I think that if we were to ask any Sporting fan before the match if a draw would be a good result, they would say yes. But now taking into account these 90 minutes, probably some of them are disappointed. Now the focus is on the next match. Well, Sporting scored twice, but you missed a couple of other chances. Considering
se o Sporting vai a Londres,
your performance today, and considering the objectives that you have in the Portuguese league, what will be your approach to the match at the Emirates?
Também,
of course that we want to win this tie, but we know too well that we'll be playing away. They will have the support of their fans. If we were leading this tie, it would be much better. But we'll implement our game plan. We'll try to make them nervous. We'll try to keep the possession. They play 3 against 3 at the back, but we know that we'll have to suffer a lot. If you need to defend with the entire team in front of our goal, we'll do it. The objective is to win this tie.
Podemos passar.
It's off of the tie now, and we are 2-2.
Era diferente no jogo da segunda mão? Não lhe vou perguntar da abordagem.
What would be the differences in the second leg? I mean, regarding the approach to the second leg by Arsenal. Some players were missing today, Gabriel Jesus, Odegaard. Well, we are not expecting anything different. They have a clear game plan. If you see what Arsenal has been doing this season, I mean, they rotate some players, but the dynamic and the game plan is exactly the same. What Nelson did on the right-hand side is also done by Martinelli. Saka played today, and they cut inside quite often, and we try to prevent him from shooting. Anyway, they will play at their best. But before that, we have
E somos
the
clube.
weekend game against Boa Vista for the Portuguese league. And we are a big club. We cannot have a good performance today and then a bad performance in the weekend. This is for the small teams. So we need to put on a good performance against Boa Vista this weekend.
Desequilibrado, se calhar esta
If this was an unbalanced match, maybe this question would not be valid.
adeptos
It was 2-2.
doce
And there's a bittersweet feeling,
precederam os golos do Arsenal.
not only due to the
Sporting. Pergunto-lhe
plays that led to the 2 goals of the Arsenal, but also the missed chances by Sporting.
ou mais à incapacidade do Sporting finalizar, mais concretamente ao falhar
So, what
guarda-redes. Obrigado.
are the key reasons for this result? Well,
Sempre.
when the team fails, you pin the blame on the manager. We were not able to score, and then in key moments we conceded. One in a set piece, and another one, it's a rebound. I mean,
Foi agridoce.
I have this bittersweet feeling indeed. The stadium was packed.
O Sporting está a fazer.
I know it's difficult. I mean, we have this bittersweet feeling because
Ver este ambiente.
if we have this atmosphere, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to progress and grow. We have this bittersweet feeling because we have a talent team. Players are growing, but then something prevents us from growing. I mean, the yellow cards. It seems that they were pinpointed. I mean, and I'm not complaining about the referee, not whatsoever. Today we did a good match. We should have scored yet another goal or a couple of them,
Sentimento.
but that was not to happen. And we have this bittersweet feeling, which is good. We are here to win, not just to play the match.
Vamos tentar.
But the tie is yet open. Everything is to play at the Emirates.
No lance do 0-1, é o Pedro Gonçalves que está ao pé do...
Arsenal scored the first goal. Pedro Gonçalves were marking Saliba. Don't you think it's way risky to have such a small player marking such a tall player? Well, we do a zone defending. That
Pequeninos que estão lá, eles não estão lá para cabecear.
the small players are not there to head the ball away. They are just trying to create the confusion
Portanto,
in order to enable the tall players of our defense to cut the ball. But we cannot have Seba marking Saliba, and then Saliba moves away from the box, and Seba is also outside. If it was man-to-man marking, of course, that Pedro Gonçalves would not be marking Saliba, because we are not crazy. Some of them just to create confusion. Pot is not there to win any ball, not even if he was marking Zinchenko. Anyway, it's a zone marking. Those that are man-to-man is just to prevent them from jumping quite high. And Reis was not allowed to jump, I would say.
Aqui na conferência.
Yesterday, St. Just at the press conference said that Sporting wanted to test
se ganhar ao Boa Vista,
its strengths against best teams in Europe.
sim, não vai
Well, only if we play
jogo na Europa.
well and we'll win against Boa Vista this weekend.
Temos talento.
This was just a match. We know too well that we have a talented team. We know that in a couple of players, in a couple of years, our key players will be transferred abroad. I want to have a competitive team that plays well, that puts on a good performance, but in a steady manner. So I think that the litmus test will be the match this weekend against Boa Vista, a well-drilled team with a great coach.
Boa tarde, Ruben. Filipe ao Record. Duas questões, se me permitir. Uma
I
delas,
have 2 questions.
os pormenores do lance do Paulinho.
You've mentioned the details of Paulinho missed. Even in the last weekend, Sporting created many chances, but you missed many goals. Do you think that that is related with the psychological aspect of your players, their mindset? And regarding Hector Bellerin, he was not able today due to a trauma in his knee. I wonder if he will be available for the next match this weekend.
Quer o Hector, quer o
Well, Hector and Esgaio
preparação do jogo.
did the tactical work yesterday.
Já ia jogar este.
But then I made my choice. Esgaio was always my first option because he did a great exhibition last weekend, whereas Bellerin is still trying to learn the ropes of our team.
Queria tê-lo
If Bellerin was available, maybe would have
ter feito a mesma coisa. Vamos ver se ele vai
played from the bench.
para o próximo.
Let's see if he
Em relação
is available for the next match.
os jogadores,
Regarding the chances created, the man that missed more chances was Pot.
este
In his previous team, he didn't score that much. Then he came to Sporting and he was a top goal scorer. Now he's missing. I mean, I don't know what's happening. There are things that we cannot explain. It's important to create the chances, but we need to be effective. We need to be clinical finishers. But I think it's also about the mindset, but I don't know the secret recipe in order to change the mindset and to make sure that we are more effective and create more goals from the chances that we score.
O Drivaldo para a direita foi uma opção.
Regarding Sanchez, then in the second half you played it as a right back. Was that a voluntary option or you were forced to do it?
estando bem,
Well, Esgaio did a good match, but then we have the set pieces. In the second half,
foi de arrancar a bola e a bola
Esgaio
tempo. Ou seja, o que nós precisávamos era de um jogador que fosse tão rápido a fazer a transição que chegasse lá antes dos outros.
was a bit tired and we needed to have
Eles são
a quicker player.
qual é o
I look at the characteristics of the player. Who is the fastest one? Esgaio or Jeremy? Jeremy.
não
Does he need to be there
tentar atacá-los em transições. Depois
for a while in order to link with the other players? No. Then they launched fresh players.
centro
And he's a very fast player. He's not just a center back. He can play as a right back as well. This had been previously thought,
acontecer quando for preciso, mas temos outros jogadores para jogar ali.
but we also have other players that can play as right back.
A minha pergunta é sobre a
I
utilização.
have a question regarding some young players,
Foi titular contra.
including Fatawu. He was in starting 11 against FC Porto.
Não,
Then he was replaced at halftime.
em Londres nunca.
And the same is valid for Mateus Fernandes. He played against Tottenham in London, but he hasn't been a regular player on the team. Do you have any strategy to enhance the value of the young players by putting them on the pitch on these big matches?
A estratégia é usá-lo.
No. The strategy is to use them to the best of their abilities.
As características, o Fatal é o jogador mais
This is based on the characteristics of each individual player. Fatou is the most explosive player of our team.
direito. São
Now he's playing as a right winger and not as a right back. Other option would be Artur or Rochinha,
sendo jogador
but I think Fatua was the only left foot player and is also a tall player.
e o tão jovem a ser utilizado.
Mateus is a very young player. He played against Maritimo in the league club, Maritimo in our league. Today, Trincão was available. Pot was in the midfield. Morita in the midfield.
Uma opção.
I mean, Mateus Fernandes was on the bench.
17.
Dario is 17, 18 years old. I mean,
Pergunto
it's difficult to answer your question.
para os jogadores e se
To
estão
ask me if we have any specific strategy to enhance the value of our players. Well, I'm the first one to tell you that I think that the players should stay with us in order to grow.
aqui.
Youssef came
Muito bem.
here, he adjusts himself, and is a good player. Rodrigo Ribeiro had his chances, he didn't take advantage of it, and now is in the reserves team. So we do have a strategy for the young players, but I struggle to understand the